right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another DC Worlds Collide video. This is Mr. Squirrel, as always. Glad to have you here. So let's talk about the September best in slot teams and who are the best characters on those teams. I got a lot of feedback in the last video. I'm going to first say this is subjective. This is my personal opinion of what are the top 5 best teams in the game right now. This is not me saying that, their other teams aren't good. I'm just saying, what do I think are the top 5 best teams right now? And I'm going to go through the characters that I think are the best on those teams and why they are, what characters, if you're going to run these teams, you should be shooting for. Are there other options for these teams? Yes. I got a lot of feedback on this one. I'm not saying other characters don't work. I'm literally saying, hey, to my perception, these are the best characters on these teams. Some of these are a little bit more subjective than others. I will be quite frank with you. Especially, I'm going to start with the debuff team. I'm going to work my way up this time instead of my way down. I like going up versus down now. I'm going to start with what I think is the rank 5, and then I'll go 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to go in order of what I think are the best teams. Now, let's get started. Again, these lists are highly subjective. People can argue with me. You can argue with me on this. It's fine. I'm just saying this is what I think. Okay, let's get started. I'm just jumping in now. So let's talk about the debuff team. This is what I personally think are the best characters on this team. Now, you're going to notice something that I'm not running a lot of sustain on this team. It's because of Raven and Lex Luthor. Now, Raven is more of just a debuff support character that wants to just throw out a ton of debuffs. She actually does quite a bit of damage. And Grodd, however, I'm going to say this. Grodd is a staple. Like, if you're running debuff, you got to be running a high rank Grodd with badged up. Like, he is your main tank. So the way I operate this, main tank, off tank, support, and then one of the DPS. I'll talk about Batman in a little bit. Why Batman's grown on me a lot. Is that here I like Lex on this team because most likely he's either going to bring one of these two out to attack, and both of these will inflict debuffs when they attack, right? You've got her to do the revives, and just in case one of your tanks dies, so that she can bring them back up and bring them back alive. Or maybe an ult wipes out your Batman and she can bring him back. But again, Grodd is a staple. You need a Grodd, and then he's got to ult after Grodd, because then you're just doing tons of damage. You can also work with Batman a lot. Batman deals a lot of damage if there's lots of debuffs. This team is about spreading out as much different types of debuffs. Now, another character that can work, but he doesn't offer the same kind of sustain, is going to be DCU Superman. DCU Superman can do quite a bit on this team too, because again, he's got that slow, he's got the dampen. Dampen really does work with Sinestro. You can run many different variations. I'm saying if I'm specifically running Sinestro's team synergy, this is the team that I have found the most success with, just because Raven is that revive. I did have Cyborg on this team. I don't like the idea of Cyborg just because he doesn't have that revive. That revive is really clutch. You lose Grodd, he comes back. You lose Lex, he comes back, right? And now you've got the tank you got to deal with again. And since they also fixed Lex now, or like multiple characters from the revive, it's overall very good. And Batman is just, I've found this team struggles actually with the front line a little bit, and Batman really makes it so that you don't struggle with the front line anymore. You power through the front line, actually. Okay. That's the debuff team. I think this is the best in slot debuff team. Now, this next one, let me pause real quick, and then I'm going to bring the characters up. Otherwise, I'm going to be like looking for them. Okay. So, right now, we didn't get the buffs for the creature commandos. So, this gets a little interesting. If we had the buff for the creature commandos, I'm saying this right now at the end of September 2025, who is the best anti-hero team? Grodd, Peacemaker, Vigilante, Batman. I would prefer to run this team as a Armor Break team, because Armor Break is a very good debuff. And Judo Master does a ton of damage. Batman, ton of damage. I actually like Vigilante more supportive in the sense that since Batman is doing so much damage, Vigilante is more acting as a, um, like apply lots of armor break, have Judo Master do tons of stuff, tons of damage. Batman doing tons of damage and then when someone ults, your whole team is, and then also the reason Grodd, because his basic does armor break, he's doing a ton of debuffs. He can really kind of push back that enemy. The whole point of this team is actually like, I like ulting kind of in this order. So that's the way I would like to ult this with this team or actually even more this way, is because these two are putting so many debuffs on the team, and then Batman's just going to sit there and single target out someone real quick, and most likely a tank. And then he's silencing the back row. His ult does become a lot less effective as the game goes on, but that 2-turn silence at rank 10 is the amount of armor break and silence that he's putting on that team, plus how he's going to like pretty much just cripple the back line. It's these two together. Once you ult and then Batman comes in and just wipes out one of the tanks, it really works out incredibly well. Peacemaker, because of how much armor break is going on this team and how damagey a well-built Judo Master is, his passive of healing can trigger. I would not run him as the main tank though. I'd run Grodd, and try to do as fast of damage as you possibly can before Grodd gets sacked out after round 2, because he's losing all that damage reduction. Okay, that's my general thought on what I think is the best anti-hero team. Currently, again, we don't know what the update to or the buffs to the creature commandos are going to do. So that will fundamentally change this team. All right, let's now move on to the sacrifice team. Okay, here we go. So I don't think Pandora's team synergy is anything super crazy OP, but it does something that's really, really strong. And that is that there's a ton of debuff removal on it. And that cannot be not appreciated. This team, it is very hard to stick debuffs on this team because of how her path, just where, characters sacrifice HP, then they remove 3 stacks of a stackable debuff. Like, it is so hard to keep weaken, bleed, burn, frostbite, all of those on this team because they're just removing it. Now, hard CC will silence, stun, freeze, will negatively impact the team. They can't remove it, but you then again, well, I don't know if this even removes, it just removes debuffs. I didn't see it remove hard CC. So just saying that, I think they're classified as 2 separate things. And on top of it, you do have Aquaman here. Now, we're going to talk about this. The reason this team works is because of this man right here. Honestly, the team needed a support paladin-like tank, and it got that. It needed something because what has ended up happening is that her synergy was like, all right, go down to 30% and then get a 1-time 12% HP shield. And then it's just like, great, that's gone, and now my team dies. Even 12% I think is way too low. I think they should bump that up to 20. I just think 12% is just not enough, but it is what it is. However, this man heals so much that your team just kind of stays alive. And then with him, with Constantine and him, you're getting so much recuperate. With her healing, it really does actually just kind of work. And then, worst case scenario, someone ults, then this man is going to give them a shield as well. It's overall, this team operates on such a degree, these two frontlining and having so much damage reduction that the front can't really do much to them. And it is just, he's sitting there and just tanking while healing your team. This team works because of this man. That's it. I'm going to be real with you. There's nothing other than, now I also say if all of these teams, this one is one of the most free to play friendly teams, except if you don't have, again, I will say this over and over again, Carol works, the Starfile Carol works as a great replacement to Dr. Fate because she can stun while he's doing more shielding. Stunning is a form of sustain, because if someone can't kill you, they're, less scary. So just highlighting this, but this is the best version of this team. It is just shielding up left and right. Because of this is why I also don't run block on these two, because you have so much shielding going on this team that shields will really negatively impact the block. I also want especially him to go fast, so his passive is triggering it as much as possible. So that way he's getting so much, he's healing out the team or giving a ton of strong attack. Either way, your team is getting a ton of attack power by just existing with him, that this team synergy doing anything other than this would be potentially problematic, because then it is actually, because of how OP he is, it might actually just become a problem, and it would maybe potentially cause problems to the other two teams that we're about to talk about. Except I do think these two teams kind of almost exist in a realm of their own. Again, we'll wait when I get this team better built up. I want to see how it competes with the next really powerful team. But I will say overall sacrifices, I think top 3 team. I think currently it is the 3rd best team in the game. And I think most of the characters are very free to play friendly to get besides Dr. Fate. The rest of them are easy pulls. And then if you don't have Fate, you just use Carol and she works too. All right, let's move on to the next team. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So, Block. One of the funniest things about Block is it hasn't really changed for months. And it's kind of a testament to its abilities, is that it just does its thing. And it's so tanky and builds up so fast. And it's always healing that if you're running against AoEs, it's kind of just annoying as heck to deal with them. Now, I will say this, they do struggle with single target. High levels of single target damage in like one go. I've seen Fate almost one-shot a Nightwing because they do struggle with single target. I will forewarn people, they do struggle a little bit with single target, especially if they don't block and that the block doesn't trigger or that it doesn't proc. You could be looking at a team getting wiped. That has happened to me before, and I do have a decently built up block team. So just an FYI, block is OP, but I don't want them to nerf it, but I'm just saying block is very good. But just take note, especially in the early part of a fight, they don't have a lot of attack because the attack has to build up. And this team is very susceptible to teams that burst very quickly. Because if they don't get a chance to build up that attack power, then Ocean Master isn't going to do as much damage when he's counterattacking. But if they build up, especially on AoEs, like if you throw a green arrow at this team, you've pretty much just, kissed your butt goodbye, because they pretty much just proc like one ult with green arrow and this team is like already ready to go in like max capacity. And then it's just like, and you're dead. Once they build up like that 30% attack power and they're getting all those heals, and it's just good luck. Like this is, I think at max, like once it's fully built up, this team is a problem to deal with. Because then Ocean Master's counterattacks are doing so much damage. I will just say he makes your backline so unbelievably tanky. It's annoying. I will say Deathstroke, I get a lot of questions about 2 things here. So Deathstroke is without a shadow of a doubt the best DPS on this team. Like I'm not going to argue. I've tried Wonder Woman. I've tried Sinestro. I've tried them all. He just sits far and away above everybody else, especially if you're using the risk gauntlet on him and he kills someone. And once you've gotten badge 30, he just, and because of all the bleed that's on the enemy, he's by far and away the best DPS on this team. I get a lot of questions about Bloodsport. I'm going to just say this. Bloodsport is here because of his high block chance. Because he's blocking so much, he's triggering the passive, which overall, very good for the team. And so you want to use this team. The higher block chance a character has, the better they're going to be on this team, because the more you're triggering block, the more healing you're giving, and the more attack you're giving in the early part, and then they're just going to start doing tons of damage. And so I would say you really do. Bloodsport is the best like sub DPS. His enhanced attack is very good. I've seen it melt front rows. His tank buster is like amazing, but this is the best iteration of the team. And I know people are like, well, what about, what's his name? Bleed guy, Two-Face. Because he doesn't, I really like Bloodsport because he does a lot of damage and he's got a high block chance. He's doing what I need, and I don't need him to ult either. I just put his ult last, and it's like, all right, if you ult, great. If not, meh. And for me on this team, I really like ulting with all my characters. I want Deathstroke ulting right away. I want Nightwing ulting. Because I want those stuns. I want Blue Beetle ulting because I want those shelters on my back line. I want Ocean Master ulting to convert the weakens into bleeds. It's just overall, you want a lot of people ulting. So And the way I ult in this team, and it has never gone me wrong. I always go. So the order it's actually the reverse right here. It goes Deathstroke, Nightwing, because Nightwing at rank 10 will give Firm stand to the front line, which makes him way tankier. So it allows the team to build up much faster. Nightwing, ult, and then I go Blue Beetle and then Ocean Master, because then by that point they've put a ton of weaken on, and therefore there's tons of bleed. So it works overall really well. And now for what I consider the best team in the game. Okay. And that's Mr. T. Now, I'm going to say this over and over again. This is the best iteration of the Mr. T team right now because of how it synergizes together. These two, Guy and Jessica, synergize insanely well together because Guy will supercharge Jess, because if Guy hits his auto and then gets like the multiple procs, he's given Jess so many stacks on her shield or on her passive that her basics and her ult are just hitting for ludicrous levels of attack power damage and auto critting. And just her, yeah, it's kind of nutty. Hal Jordan, because of his enhanced basic that can cleanse the team, is healing the team because of his rank 10 ability, and then his ult, because of the Mr. T synergy, is doing so much damage. It's a little nutty. And then you've got Superman, DCU Superman, who is just on this team one of the best tanks in the game. Because, oh, you didn't kill him. Okay, and back to full health. I've talked about this team ad nauseum now. I don't think I really need to go into it. It is just the best team in the game. It does tons of damage. It has so much sustainability. I think it pales all other teams right now. That's because of how amazing the synergy at rank 10 is. But I look at this list, and one of the nice things that I'm seeing here is, besides the anti-hero and debuff team, these, like, you build a character on one of these teams and for the best in slots, and they're all different. Like, these top three are my teams right now. These are my two, and they work beautifully. I've tried other teams. I've tried the anti-hero team. It's okay. It's good for what it does. It does a lot of stuff, but I just don't have him, which is also the problem. But I still don't think it even compares to these other three. These other three are just, I will say these top two right now exist on another level. This team is very close to breaching that level. I think part of it is just because the sacrifice team itself is not the best. That synergy is okay. It's good. It's good, but it is not anything OP like the other two. That's the notion of what I'm trying to get at. So, all right, ladies and gents, I like this list. I think it's overall looks pretty good. That's the end of September top 5 best teams and the top characters, the best in slot characters on those teams. All right. Hope this helps. And as always, failing is just your first attempt in learning.